on the season finale of the WendyLyfe Show. Wendy talks with Debra Vines, founder and CEO of The Answer, Inc.
My son, Jason, who is now 31 years old.
Who is beautiful.
Thank you.
I was able to meet him. He's beautiful.
He was diagnosed when he was 18 months old.
Okay.
And then the numbers for autism were 1 in 1,000.
Mm.
To date, they're the 1 in 48.
Wow.
We lived in an underserved community. When we got the diagnosis, I was mortified because the only thing that I had remotely heard about autism was the Rain Man. Back then, public aid didn't pay for therapies. Insurance didn't pay for therapies. You had to come out of pocket.
Yeah.
And so my husband and I didn't have that kind of money to spend, so I just did what I knew how to do, and that was parent.
We're going more on location. We're talking to a more diverse group of people, bringing the special needs community right to you. Hi, and welcome to the Wendy Life. We're on location today, and I have a new friend, Debra Vines. She is the founder and CEO of the Answer, Inc. Incorporated Autism Awareness and Support Agency.
Yes.
That's a big old title, girl.
I know, it's a mouthful.
It is. So tell me, how did this get started?
Well, my son, Jason, who is now 31 years old.
Who is beautiful.
Thank you.
I was able to meet him. He's beautiful.
He was diagnosed when he was 18 months old.
Okay.
And then the numbers for autism were 1 in 1,000.
Mm.
To date, they're the 1 in 48.
Wow.
We lived in an underserved community. When we got the diagnosis, I was mortified because the only thing that I had remotely heard about autism was the Rain Man.
Wow. Okay.
And my son
I
was
think that's what most of us, that's all we knew.
That's all we knew. And we definitely hadn't heard of anything remotely on TV as it relates to communities of color, underserved communities, a child with autism. I hadn't seen anything on television. So I didn't know what to do because we basically got a Coke on a smile. Okay, your child has autism. Here you go.
Wow.
And so I just went into overdrive, just trying to find resources for not just him, but myself as well.
Mm-hmm. So what did you do as you're trying to find? Okay.
I couldn't find anything, not in my community.
Right.
I had to go outside of my community. I actually had to go all the way to Aurora, Illinois.
Wow.
It was a long train and a bus ride just to be able to get some supportive services for myself.
Wow.
Because I knew that if I wasn't whole or equipped, I wouldn't be able to help my son.
And that's something I think as parents we don't think about normally. We're just trying to take care of the child. We're trying to get through the day. And a lot of times we fall short. But you had the insight to know that you had to take care of yourself.
I did. And then not just that, Wendy, I wanted to find things for him. I started thinking about schools. I read about therapies and things like that. But again, being underserved, when you want to go into a therapy for your child, back then, things are changing a little bit now, but back then, public aid didn't pay for therapies. Insurance didn't pay for therapies. You had to come out of pocket.
Yeah.
And so my husband and I didn't have that kind of money to spend, so I just did what I knew how to do, and that was parent.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Jason's behavior was just, he would bite himself until he bled.
Wow.
All types of things that comes along with being on the spectrum with a lot of children. He would headbutt and things like that. And so we went from school to school, from provider to provider, just trying to find someone that could service him. And as he started getting better, I started thinking, it's got to be other families that's going through this. It's got to be. I felt so alone because I didn't have any friends that had children with autism. I didn't see anybody in the community. You know how you go to your parent-teacher day?
Yeah.
And you see the parents, you walk through the hall, you're like, oh, hi. And it's just a, oh, hi. And you just going about your business instead of let's go have coffee or, you know, let's connect in some kind of way. I'm not trying to get into your personal business, but I just need somebody to talk to that
someone who understands that, the
what
journey.
I'm going through it. And it never happened.
Wow.
But in September 2007, the God had actually given me the vision for the answer in the year 2000.
Okay.
But I ignored him. I just ignored it. How can I help somebody else? I'm trying to help myself,
I'm trying to figure this out myself.
Exactly. And so in 2007, well, prior to that, I was working for Ceasefire. I was an outreach worker. Okay. And so I was in the community.
So he's always been in service.
In the community, yes. I was in the community, and we lost funding for that job, for that whole company, lost funding. And so I started helping a friend of mine who had an agency that serviced ex-offender women. And so as I was helping her, God just literally whispered in my ear one night, how can you help someone build their dream?
Yeah.
And I gave you a dream to build. And
what do you say to that?
Like, okay, God, I hear you.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. And that's how the Answer Incorporated was born in September 2007.
Wow. So when you first started, so that's 12 years, correct?
12 years.
From the day one to now, what did you envision at first, and how has it surpassed your vision since then?
It surpassed my
Because it always does.
Oh my God, it surpassed anything that I ever thought it would be. I knew, my friend would always tell me, Debra, it's bigger than you. This is bigger than you. I just want to help parents get through the journey.
Yeah.
I'm not going, because I'm going to say a struggle, but it's not a struggle, it's a journey. And we started with just a support group because I knew that parents needed to connect. I have friends that celebrate me and they tolerate me, but they don't totally understand what I go through.
They try. But you can't know.
But you can't.
And you're happy for them. It's fine.
And I'm happy.
Yeah.
And I don't hold it against them and nothing like that. But you don't understand. It's like me trying to understand how to do a triple sack. What is it? Triple salt something.
Oh yeah, that's
but another gymnastic person would understand that. So we these parents and they just came out of nowhere. I mean, we had an open house, and I think it was over 200 people at the open house. We invited community leaders, we invited the police department, we invited parents, we invited the school districts, we invited everybody because we wanted to make sure that we were a resource for the community. And then after then, we started having parent groups every single month, a parent group. And from the parent group, even with me being a parent, everything that the Answer does is a blueprint of me being a parent. So I started thinking when Jason aged out of school, I wasn't really happy with his academic level. And him being limited language really made it difficult all through the years because he was having a lot of behavior problems. And so I think I thought then, I said, well, his brain is ready to absorb now. So he's calmer, he's listening. And so we created a program, and thankful to the late Mr. Philip Jackson of Black Star Project. He had a program called Saturday University, and it's still in existence. But our program is called Spectrum University because we not only service families with autism, we service families with across the board with a lot of different spectrums, Down syndrome, cerebral palsy. And so this program enhances reading, writing, math, and social skills. And we started with the age group 18 to 40 because my son then was 18.
Yeah,
so
he's aging out.
He had aged out of school. And so, but now we service age 6 to 21 as well.
See, it did get bigger.
Yeah, it got much bigger. We're not only servicing them there. We did a contract with Mecca School in Bellwood. We're looking to do some things in District 88 at CPS. And so this program is just going to really take off. And not only that program, I noticed that a lot of the children, when they age out of school, they start gaining weight because they have limited movement. They don't have a lot of friends. They don't have any friends, so they can just say, come on, let's go play basketball or something like that. And so they start gaining weight. And when they gain weight, what happens? Medical problems, diabetes, heart disease, all these other things that come along with weight gain. And so, I really try to be as health conscious as I can. And when I'm being health conscious to myself, I definitely have to think about my son as well. So we started making smoothies. We started doing just a lot of different things because he doesn't eat vegetables. So I had to trick him.
Yeah, I don't eat fruit, so I get it. I have to trick myself. I drink smoothies.
Exactly. And so we started a program called Music in Me. And instead of just doing regular exercises, 1, 2, 3, 4 jumping jacks.
Which is a chore.
Yeah. We want to make it fun. And so we have a dance instructor, Kendra Shopper. She is absolutely amazing. And she teaches these different genres of dance. They've done a hip hop dance, they've done a reggae dance, a gospel dance. And who would think that a kid or a young adult that has limited language, that is low with cognitive skills, that can learn an 8-count dance.
You got to give them a chance. Though.
Yes, and so they perform every year at our annual gala, and they've actually been invited to perform at different festivals throughout the community and things like that. Yes.
I noticed you said police officers, and that struck a chord with me because in the news you see a lot of times a person who had been apprehended or even killed, unfortunately, had a disability. and they just didn't know how to handle it.
Absolutely.
So you inviting the police officers gives at least those officers a perspective.
Well, Wendy, we invited them, and not only did we invite them, we created a program, a training that we do with first responders, firemen, policemen. We even do trainings for retail merchants, because a lot of our children, a lot of families go to the store.
Yeah.
Children have meltdowns. The staff don't know what to do with a kid that's having a meltdown.
That's not just a bad child over there.
Exactly. It's not just a bad kid. It's someone that's having a meltdown.
Yeah.
It might have been a sound. It might have been a color. It might have been a smell. But it set this kid off. And so the staff, they don't know what to do. And so we train them on how to handle that.
I love this.
Thank you.
And what's different about your agency as well is it's not just restricted to this area. It's Chicagoland, correct?
Yes, it is Chicago. We service the entire Chicagoland area.
Okay.
And a lot of times, we did start here in the western suburbs, and we service a lot of families throughout the western suburbs and the west side of Chicago. But we service families on the south side of Chicago as well. And we're getting ready to expand to Berwyn.
Yeah.
Berwyn, Illinois is the Berwyn Powerful Parents of Autism.
Awesome.
We also have a site at Loretto Hospital on the west side of Chicago as well, and in Forest Park.
Love that.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that you addressed a parent, because we talked a little bit earlier, as a single mom, I had 2 special needs, and they're like, you should go see a support group. I don't have time. I'm trying to get 2 good hours of sleep and then get up and do it again.
Yeah.
But part of it was I didn't even know. Like you said, especially when they're younger and you're taking the child to the services at the school, you see the other parents. In my case, I'm like, well, they don't understand because they only have 1. I got 2.
Exactly.
They don't understand. So
and
I didn't
God
feel like.
bless you. Oh my God.
Yeah, it was different. But like you said, it's a journey.
Yeah.
And the reason for our show is to show that we all have the same journey. Your son is different than mine.
But we both are special needs parents.
Yeah, we have that up, that down. And then let's talk about the question you put out on social media, which was powerful.
Yeah.
It was powerful. And tell me about some of the responses.
I've been having a lot of conversations with myself as it relates to grief, because I lost my husband last year. And so just thinking about, how I'm feeling just about losing him, I was sitting up looking at Jason one day, and I was like, I just wish sometimes that he had a wife and children and a life outside of me being his caregiver.
What you plan when you go to have children.
Exactly. And I said, I'm grieving the child that I wished I put it on Facebook. And I asked, what special needs parent is grieving the child that they wish they had? And so many of them, me. But those kind of conversations we don't have. It's
but we need to have them.
We're taboo. It's not that we don't love our kids anymore. I love my son like my next breath.
Yes.
But sometimes I do wish that he was not autistic.
And it's funny you say that, because I have those thoughts. Like just recently, because Matthew is 18 and he's about to go to college. And I'm looking at Christian, who's 15, he'll be 16 in January. And I'm like, he should just be trying to kick it with his brother.
Yeah.
I want to go to the party with my brother, or, he has his own social setting, but he's like a baby. And so when you said that, it struck a chord, because I was like, yeah.
And, and nobody's suggesting, let me just put a disclaimer on here. I'm not a psychiatrist or a psychologist. I'm just an advocate. But no one is suggesting that you stay in that place.
Right.
But you have the conversation with yourself, you accept it, you move on. I would love to be a size 6. I grieve the size 6 in me.
Girl, that's a whole
but
other show.
I'm not gonna stay there and be like, oh my God, let me eat another donut, because I'm not
address it. Know that's a thought, but grow from that.
And I'm just learning that with the loss of my husband, God doesn't make mistakes. I wish he was still here. Of course I do. But I've learned so much about myself. Yeah. Because, when you have
you guys were married
35 years.
Yes, what a blessing.
35 years. I do not even remember what it's like to be single.
Wow.
But at the same time, it's given me the opportunity to even think about, how do I take this agency a step further in helping parents to face some of the fears and thoughts that they have and how to combat them? Because I'm asking myself those same questions as well. Number one, about transition, about how to, I'm not going to always be here, even though I ask God, can I live to be 100 and still wear my stilettos?
We got to put that caveat in there. Please let us keep the heels on.
Still be able to wear my stilettos, but at the same time, you know, I want Jason to live his, you know, I hate to sound cliche, but live his best life as well. Be able to, he goes on a lot of outings. I have him in groups on Tuesday and Wednesday. He goes on a group, sometimes on Thursday, sometimes on Saturday night, because I might have something to do. But at the same time, I'm not going to be that parent. And I told my oldest son this, when he was young, I said, you are going to get grown. You're going to have your own life. So don't think about, I'm not going to have one.
Yeah.
That, you know, I
don't think kids think about that.
They don't think about that, you know. And so at the same time, I have to have a conversation with myself about Jason.
Mm-hmm.
I need to have a life.
Yeah.
Jason is going to have his own life. Please say that
again, because I'm guilty.
Oh, I have a life.
I did not have a life for so long.
And I'm getting better because my life was entailed around my husband and the agency. I wasn't doing anything just for Debra.
Yeah. And that's important.
It's very important.
Yeah.
You have to do something for yourself if it's not but 15 minutes a day. You have to do something to make yourself happy. And everybody thinks, oh, what do you do for you? You always posting this, that. What I do for me is private. You know, so social media doesn't have to know everything, but
they expect to, though.
What I do on social media is encouraging. Is I want to encourage people to know that you can have a special needs child and live your best life.
I love that example.
You can,
because it's hard especially when you first get the diagnosis.
Absolutely.
And then with me, I was going through marital issues and divorce.
You was going through life.
I'm going through life. I'm not thinking about me.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about, now I'm single, I have these kids I need to take care of.
Oh, well, it's me.
And I'm telling you, when they went to Dad's house on the weekend, I'd sit on the couch like, I
don't know what to do.
I don't know what to do. I go to the grocery store. I a meal prep.
And then you get ready for when they come home.
Yes.
And where was your time at?
I didn't know what to do.
You didn't have any.
But when I started breaking out and just started doing things just for me, I became a better mother.
Yeah.
Because I'm filling my cup. Yes,
you're happier.
I'm filling my cup so I can pour out. And now I asked you earlier, what would you say, because we were talking about transitioning, that answer was profound. So tell me, when I asked you what should parents do when they're thinking about, we're not always going to be here, what do we think about when we're trying to think about transitioning our child? You told me what? You
transition as soon as you find out you have the diagnosis. You start transitioning then. We transition our typical children all the time. I mean, we think about transition from kindergarten to, grade school? Grade school to high school, high school to college. It's an easier transition for them because it's just like, okay, bam, 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 bam. But when you transition a special needs child, it's a lot that goes into it. A lot that goes into it. And those are preparations that we should make as soon as we get that diagnosis.
Give us some examples. Like, what are some of the things you would say?
For example, when you have a special needs child, you have to always think about, even more so, what's going to happen when I'm no longer here. And you should start that preparation, talking to whoever's going to take care of them, getting medication lists together, just doing an entire binder on your kid. Because if God closed my eyes tomorrow, which I hope not, all my son have to do is come and get this binder.
He knows everything.
And look through it.
That's smart.
You have to prepare. You have to prepare. And
because we kind of do things because it's in our head. We just do it.
Exactly.
So and I write it down, it's a lot.
I didn't even start this preparation until after my husband died. Because I said, what if I don't wake up out of my sleep one night? My son would come, to prepare for a funeral or whatever it is he wanted to do. And then what's the next step for Jason? I haven't left medical records. I haven't left doctors. I haven't left medication.
That's so
I haven't left life insurance. I haven't left anything. So I just started doing like a preparation for when I'm not here.
Wow.
We don't like to have those conversations.
We do not. I was about to get into that.
And as I started preparing, because I mean, the Spirit didn't even tell me to start doing this. Like, knowledge told me to start doing this, and I should have started doing it a long time ago. But sometimes we have to get hit over the head with life, hit over the head with a situation, and start doing things to make it easier for the next person. I mean, transition is going to be hard for our children, especially the ones that have limited language. It's harder for them to even express what they're going through, and hopefully it doesn't come out in a bad behavior. So I just want my demise to be easier for my son, both my children.
Talk to the parent who, like me, let's use me for example. I'm newly divorced, I would look at you and be like, she don't understand. See, she was with her husband for 35 years, you know, she cute, you know, you appear to have everything together. So this is what made me get help. I've been a beauty consultant for years, right? And one of my son's therapists, she was like, have you ever thought about getting nursing? I was like, yeah, you know, okay. Yeah.
Getting what?
Nursing help.
Okay,
yeah. You know, and I left, I don't have time for this. Mm. So she asked me a couple times, she goes, Wendy, you look haggard. And I was like, wait a minute. She says, you need help.
Yeah.
You know, it's not occurring to me that I'm sleeping just a couple hours here and there.
Exactly.
And I'm not taking care of myself.
Right.
She said, you look haggard. I'm like, I'm a beauty consultant.
Right. But you know what? That's that. Even though you might be going to bed at a great time of the night, you think that you're resting, but you're not.
I wasn't.
And I had to have that conversation with myself just a couple of days ago. Because when you lose someone, a part of the grief process that I'm learning is you don't face the fact that they're gone, especially when you're in the house alone.
Yes.
Because you had that quiet time to think.
It's too quiet,
so
almost.
You just go. I can't speak to divorce because I was only married once. Yeah. But I do know what grief feels like.
Yeah, there's a grieving process.
A lot of my friends that are divorced said it's like a grieving process.
It is definitely like a grieving process. No one gets married knowing that they're going to get divorced later.
It's not. But you know, the divorce rate for special needs parents is very high.
It's through the roof.
My husband and I, we had multiple fights because he did not accept the fact right away that Jason was autistic. Yeah. Jason was his only biological child. He raised my son as well from being 5 years old, I believe. But Jason was his only biological child. And I guess to even accept the fact that your only kid has a disability, he would never be like you thought. I mean, he talks about it. I'll send you the link.
Oh, wow.
He talks about it in his video that, you know, he went through a myriad of emotions.
Okay, you know, hold that thought. We got to go to break. And I want to talk more about how you and your husband rocked it for 35 years, especially. And like you said, y'all fought. Like how we get through that. Because people need to hear that. Couples, men, women, they need to hear it. It's not going to be easy, but stay together and do it. We'll be right back. Thank you to Miss Debra Vines.
Many stories have conflict, but it is through these moments that strength can be discovered.
Everything that I've encompassed in life is through the guidance of my mother and the surrounding of God's angels.
I think a lot of times we are shameful of some of the things that we've gone through, which is why we don't share it.
We are beautiful in our own broken way.
The stories I have encountered, the stories that I have lived are remarkable, are amazing.
If you're so distracted by your misery, you cannot serve His kingdom.
Life is cheap when you have a lot of material but nothing to show for it.
Happiness has nothing to do with pleasure. It's in here.
You take all of that stuff and you use it as ammunition to make yourself better.
I know that I am here today only because God kept me.
This is my life. This is my story. When I look back at it, I don't regret anything because I know He was setting it all up for the good.
Challenges can be conquered and obstacles overcome.
Welcome back. We're here talking to CEO and founder Debra Vines of, I have to look because it's a mouthful, The Answer Incorporated Autism Awareness and Support Agency.
Yes.
Now, we left off with you talking about you and your husband. How did you hold it together through the fighting? It's never easy.
Well, you know, I see when you go through having a child with a special need, you go through the blame, the shame, the guilt, just a myriad of emotions. And my husband and I went through, okay, it was your fault. You didn't take care of yourself like you should have. Okay, it was your fault because you're 12 years older than me and you was like 40 when you had a baby. So, I mean, it was like back and forth and back and forth. And, okay, what you got? Okay,
we need to find a blame.
And we played the blame game.
Wow.
But we verbalized the blame game, and sometimes the blame game got real ugly. It did. It got very ugly. And when we got away from the blame game, thankfully we got into church.
Oh, wow.
Together. We both were saved anyway, but we didn't worship together for a long time.
And that's important.
When we started worshiping together, we got closer.
Nice.
We got much closer because, you know, in the fights, one of us would say, okay, you wrong. You so wrong.
And you said it like that.
Yeah,
that's different. Like that. That's the way you say it.
Yeah, just like that. And at the end of the day, we had been through so much in our marriage that component right there with just being able to become whole and being able to become the best parents that we could be, instead of me taking on every responsibility as it relates to Jason. He retired before he started another job, but that's when him and Jason got closer and I started to answer. So I was away from home a lot.
Yeah.
And so he really bonded with Jason a lot. But it took all of those years before he actually got it.
Yeah.
But when he got it, he did get it.
Well, that's a blessing.
He was amazing.
That's a blessing.
Absolutely.
So you're at your deepest valley as a couple. And you said you churches were helped, but how do you you're at the bottom. You feel like you're at the bottom. How do you get to the point where like, we need to do something to save us? Because for me, I would tell my children's father, like, I am the only one who understands your life with these children. We should be together, but we could never get it together, which caused our divorce. So how did you? I want people to learn from your story.
I think it just depends on, and I'm not saying that it's textbook, but it really depends on the person, whether you're open to receive it. You know, because when he had that aha moment, it was an aha moment. And my husband was he was real sensitive. He had a real sensitive spirit. He loved Jason immensely. He loved him sometimes almost too much because Jason couldn't do no wrong. But at the same time, you know, when it came to discipline and listening and seeing the fact that your son has autism, what are you going to do? You're not going to mourn the child that you wish that you had. Yeah. We're going to get together and we're going to do this together. And once I kind of drove that and kept driving that, somebody has to be the driver and then they have to be able to.
But then someone has to want to receive that
and
too.
He received it. He received it, and he started getting more comfortable with taking Jason's places alone because he would never go any place with Jason without me being there.
Yeah.
So he started feeling more comfortable taking him places and just doing things without me. And that's when the bond came.
Wow. I love it. I hope that people who are listening and watching you, because marriage is challenging at times.
Very challenging.
With a normal family, with some bad kids running around tearing up the house. But when you introduce, like we said earlier, a death of a child, like with me, and then with a special needs child,
it intensifies.
That makes it heavy, you know?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So now at this place in your life, what motivates you to keep going?
Wow. It's multiple things, but one thing that I can really think that motivates me as it relates to the answer, and especially, is when I see a parent that just gets it and she's paying it forward to another parent.
Yeah, that's huge.
We can't do this alone.
Right.
We can't do it alone. And when I see a parent that gets it about being the best parent that she can be with what she has to work with, because there's so many single parents in underserved communities, so many. And just being that champion for her child. And then when I see the community embracing our children and embracing just the whole journey as it relates to autism, what can I do to help? Opening their doors to us, just being a great partner. All the legislators, just knowing that they have some place to send their constituents. The park district starting special rec programs. I mean, everything that we've been fighting for since 2007, I'm starting to see coming to fruition, and that motivates me to do more.
Yeah. Wow. So tell me about some of the challenges. This can't always have been rosy.
Where do you want to start? I would say the biggest challenge is getting the parents to get involved. They're the ones that need the work, and I'm just being totally transparent.
Yeah.
They need the work.
Being a parent, I agree.
Yes, it's like, we have more excuses than somebody going to jail.
You don't understand. That's my favorite one. You don't understand.
Exactly. We look at them as excuses, but it's not easy for me either. It's not easy for me. I mean, I have to get up in the morning and beg Jason out the bed, beg him out the bathroom, beg him to put his clothes on. It's a ritual.
He's 31, so it's not like he's a baby. You can just snatch him.
This is not something that is only time that he gets up and moves is when it's time to go to church.
Wow.
Oh, it's time to get up, Jason. Whoop, whoop, clothes on, everything. Okay. But to go to the day program, but the thing about it is that it's a challenge.
Yeah.
And so if more parents would be just like, okay, kid got autism. Let's see if I can get with a support group, get with an agency.
Yeah.
Get with an agency and be committed. Don't just get what you need and leave. Get what you need and stay.
Yeah,
it helps somebody
like you said,
else.
Pay it forward.
Pay it forward.
Yeah,
absolutely. And then another challenge is funding.
Girl, see, you must have read my notes because I was about to say,
it's
how does one help this awesome, amazing agency?
We are so blessed. Right now, we're being funded by the Autism Program of Illinois, and it's a state grant. And I'm so grateful to legislators. I'm going to just name a few. State Senator Kimberly Lightford, who's the majority leader. State Representative Welch, Mayor Katrina Thompson, Mayor Tamburino, State Rep LaShawn Ford. We have so many supporters, and they fight in Springfield for us to get what we need. And hopefully, since we have a new governor, things are going to be even better for the underserved community. There's so many people fighting for the same dollars, and we're just hoping and praying that the answer can get more money within our budget to be able to help more families.
So real quickly before we close, someone watching and they want to give $5 or they want to whatever. How do they reach you? Right? How do they reach you and how do they reach out to help?
Well, you can go to our website at theanswerinc.org, or you can call us at 708-296-5651. We are on Facebook and we are on Instagram as well.
As The Answer.
The Answer Inc., yes.
This was a dream to meet you. We had 2 guests and they both mentioned you. I'm like, where is Debra? Somebody find Debra.
Glory
so I
God.
Thank you so much
Thank you so much for having
just
me.
What you do and taking time out of your crazy day.
I love what I do.
And you can tell it comes through. But as a parent of 2 special needs kids, I thank you and I applaud you for the work you do. And we look forward to supporting you and cheering you on. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for having me.
Hopefully you've learned something. You've been motivated, inspired by something that Debra has said. As we both agreed, we are all in this journey together. It doesn't matter the diagnosis of your loved one, it's that the journey is the same. So reach out and find people to help support you. Do things to make yourself the best self you can be so that you can pour out to others. But until next time, blessings to you. Thank you for watching. Bye.
Thanks for watching. Check out more videos below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.